Hey, how's everyone doing today? I'm Dr.Moxmo, and today we're going to be returning back to the world of creepypastas. I'm really happy that the first episode got a lot of good feedback, so you know what? This is going to stay, and I'm really happy about it. I really enjoy making these episodes, and obviously some people are enjoying watching them, so definitely, I'm going to keep it up. Anyways, so today we're going to be doing a very unique creepypasta, and it's called The Hanging Gardens. Now, it's very interesting in the fact that it's based on a song, also called The Hanging Gardens by Metazoa, and pretty much, instead of doing that basic, paragraph writing format, it's taking the lyrics from the song and creating an actual story out of it. So, converting a song into a novel. Pretty interesting in my opinion. So, before we begin, I'm going to give you a link, and I recommend you read the lyrics. It's kind of on the lower half of the page, and then listen to the song. It's also on the page too. Then come back and listen to the story. Then we'll begin. So I'll see you in a second. They say that these woodlands contain the path to paradise itself. It has been a long way to reach these mystical gardens. My knees are scraped and bloodied from the various thorns nipping at my legs along the path. Snakes and sirens were attempting to seduce me with their allure, but I refused to heed their calling. I was pure at heart, unspoiled by all temptation and evil. My path was blocked by something, swaying back and forth from a tree. I looked at it closely. I could make out a face, with long black hair and some dark stubble leading down its chin. Its head was cast down with closed eyes. It was a dead man, hanging from a tree. I walked closer to it in disbelief and fear. What would a hanged man be doing here on the trail to heaven? I looked at its face when it suddenly jerked up its head towards me. I jumped back in shock. The man opened his eyes, blank and pitiless, before he turned his gaze upon me. He opened his mouth to speak, his message quiet and choked, and he whispered this: "Perfection is the great abyss. Leave now, lest you share my fate. A ghost dangling at heaven's gate." With his warning spoken, the dead man hung idle once more. I tried to speak to him, confused and distraught about what he meant by a punishment. But I received no further response from him. I looked at him with confused frustration. In response, I continued to get nothing. What was there to fear about paradise? I'm certainly not on the wrong path. I was free of all man's sins and malice. Surely they would let me pass. Maybe the man was a sinner and was being punished for trying to reach grace. Without heeding the deceased man's warning, I started to walk past the hanged man, impelled by curiosity betraying to his cryptic prophecy. Surely there was nothing to fear. I walked through the sycamores and blushes, my knees scraped once more from the wild, tortuous prickles, feeling something not unlike that of 1,000 tiny quills of a porcupine seeping into my legs. I could only hope that whatever lied at the end of this path would be worth it. I disregarded the serpent's temptations and trickery. I walked past the trees into a clearing and found it at last. The Pearl Doors. I slowly walked towards them with caution, remembering what the man who spoke to me warned. The door had a latch, and there was a gate beside them. I held onto the gate and looked through to see the inside of Divinity before going inside. The view was marvelous. Inside there were large grass fields aligned with a graceful night sky. The stars shone brightly around the blue orb that was the earth itself. I looked around and I was awestruck at its divine, stunning beauty. I kept looking through and through at its elegance. But there was one thing that troubled me. There was not a single person inside. With a small amount of hesitation, I wrapped my hand around the latch and carefully tried to open it. Foolishly expecting it to simply open with a gentle pull, it did not budge. I tried pulling harder, and the door stood firm in utter defiance. I finally pulled with all my might, and I suddenly fell back to the ground. I looked at my hand. It had the latch inside of my palm, but the doors remained unopened. I cursed under my breath and held on to the bars futilely. I tried shaking angrily at the gate and was looking inside, almost sobbing at the fact that paradise was not letting me in. That is where I saw a flash of fire as the gate suddenly began to burn. I screamed in pain and looked at my hand holding the gate, horrifically burned. I ran back into the orchards in the newfound fear and terror of this hellish heaven. I came across a waterfall and dived in quickly to ease off the pain. I quickly washed off my wounds in the water, gagging at the sight of the loose, burnt flesh coming off into the water. That is when I heard the screaming. 1,000 different voices, male and female, of every age and in between, writhing in agony. They were moaning. I looked around and saw many in funeral pall, while others simply hung from the trees. I counted the leaves in one tree, the largest, while covering my ears. I then counted the trail of dead bodies and found the two numbers to be matching. All of the different voices were crying out for one thing, a second chance. They wanted to escape these woods. I tried covering my ears, but to no avail. They beckoned me to save them, to guide them on the path of redemption. I backed up and hit the trunk of the tree I was counting off of earlier, and something lowered itself down in front of me. An empty noose. With a swift motion, it wrapped itself around my neck suddenly. Its pull was that of a lover, lifting me mother gently off the ground. It was a soothing feeling, that of which a lover wrapped their arms around your neck. Soon, my legs began to dangle uselessly underneath, no longer standing. I realized that I was on the wrong path to immortality after all. My life started to transmute into all life. The pulling of my neck tightened slightly, and soon all vice and ill thoughts of mankind began to leave me behind, as my vision faded into the blackening nothingness.
Wow, that was really good, and I found it really enjoyable to read. Anyways, so what I liked about it was, well, originally, let's start from the beginning, the whole concept, the whole idea. I love the unique idea of converting a song into a novel. As I said before, it's so cool in my opinion. It's definitely, breaking the boundaries there, and I've never seen that before. I didn't even think about that. That's a really unique idea in my opinion. So that's the first thing. Number two, it really sticks, true to the song. Like, the song is trying to kind of show that humanity is screwed. We are pretty dark on the inside, and how in the world are we expecting to reach paradise when we treat the world like crap like we do? And again, it sticks true to the song. We really see that coming from the protagonist and all the people around him. So it sticks true to the song. Probably the most important thing, if he went off track there, he probably would have ruined it. And number three, it does a great job of installing that oh shit feeling, it just makes us feel, we're pretty dirty on the inside, believe it or not. We are not perfect human beings. Regardless of what you think, you've done some pretty nasty sins in your life, and don't expect to be going up to heaven in the state you are in, because you know what, we're not all perfect. Definitely, well, maybe me, I'm definitely not perfect. So that's what I do like about it. I think another thing I really enjoyed was kind of the ending, how subtle it was, and instead of being like a really scary ending, it feels like the protagonist reached peace. And, well, maybe not peace, but has kind of accepted what he's done, and now he's ready for his punishment. It's kind of interesting, and it's like, it definitely breaks the boundaries on cliche endings it could have done. It could have said, and then I died, but it didn't, and it felt really good. That's definitely a breath of fresh air, especially in today's. I don't know if anyone's feeling this, but 2014 and 2013 were kind of low on the good creepypastas. There were some pretty good ones, like Room Zero, Escape from Treasure Island, but nothing too amazing. Anyways, that's pretty much it. What I did not like is how I felt like it repeated itself sometimes, especially talking about the hanged man. Okay, we get it, he's a hanged man, you try to talk to him, but you got nothing after what he said. And also that cliche kind of the leave now. Yeah, okay, we get it, it's a typical fairy tale line. So, other than all that, that's pretty much how I think about it. And to be honest, I really highly recommend you all read it. Well, you probably already did because you went to the page, but definitely give it another read for yourself. I'd rate it probably a good 8 out of 10 personally. So what would you guys rate it? Also, what would you do if you could make it different? Like, what could you do to improve on it? What would you do if you had the ability to change it? Also, do you have a creepypasta you want me to read? I'm listening. Do you have a creepypasta that you made yourself that you want me to read? Feel free to drop an email by me. I think it's in my channel. Also, I have another creepypasta. It's called The Glitch by Slosh Train. That was my first one. Also, if you want to find something else I'm doing, I also do rants and debates. I'll link you to the first episode of that. Pretty much what we talk about is, you have the ability to like whatever you want. So go check out that if you want. Feel free to do whatever you want. So this has been another episode of Creepypastas with Moxmo. I'll see you guys later. Keep gaming, everyone.